Have you ever said yes when every part of you wanted to say no? Have you ever replayed a conversation in your head, wondering if you upset someone? Have you ever felt guilty for needing space, rest, or even basic respect? And have you ever looked at your life and thought, why am I always there for everyone else, but somehow nobody really sees me? If you're sitting there thinking, yep, that's me, trust me, you're not alone. Because maybe, somewhere along the way, your brain learned something powerful. That being liked keeps you safe. That approval means connection, that if people are happy with you, maybe you're okay. And that sounds harmless. Until one day you realize you've built your entire identity around being needed, available, easy, and emotionally convenient for everybody else. Meanwhile, your real needs, your boundaries, your voice, somehow they keep ending up at the bottom of the list. So in this video, we're going deeper than the usual people-pleasing definition. We're going to talk about where this pattern actually comes from, why saying no can feel almost painful, and most importantly, how to stop people-pleasing without becoming someone you're not. You probably don't walk around calling yourself a people-pleaser. Most people don't. You just think of yourself as easygoing, helpful, the one people can count on. And honestly, that probably got you a lot of praise growing up. People like you, people trust you, people need you. But somewhere along the way, being liked may have quietly become more important than being honest with yourself. Maybe your coworker asks if you can stay late, again, or a friend texts asking for a favor when your week is already chaos. And even though every part of you wants to say no, you hear yourself saying, yeah, no worries. That's how people-pleasing behavior often works. It doesn't feel fake. It feels automatic, like your mouth answered before your nervous system even got a vote. Then there's the over-explaining. Instead of simply saying, I can't make it tonight, you give a full backstory. I'd love to, it's just work's been crazy, and I'm exhausted, and I promised my mom I'd call. Sound familiar? A lot of people never realize this is part of the real people-pleasing definition, feeling like your boundaries need to be justified before they're allowed to exist. And maybe the hardest one to notice, you feel responsible for other people's emotions. Someone gets quiet, and your brain immediately goes, did I do something? Someone seems disappointed, and suddenly you're apologizing for things that weren't even yours to carry, which raises a bigger question. If saying yes feels safe, why does saying no feel so wrong? A lot of people think the hardest part of people-pleasing is learning how to say no. But honestly, that's usually not the hardest part. The hardest part is dealing with what happens after you say it. The silence, the disappointment. That weird pit in your stomach that makes you want to text back and say, actually, never mind, I can make it work. Yeah. That's where this gets real. Because for a lot of people, saying no doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it feels dangerous. Maybe not physically, of course, but emotionally. Your brain starts whispering things like, what if they think you're selfish? What if they stop inviting you? What if they get upset? And before you even realize it, your nervous system is treating a simple boundary like it's a full-on social emergency. Maybe your boss asks if you can take on one more project, or your partner wants your time when you're already drained, or your family expects you to show up again, even when you have nothing left in the tank. And instead of asking, what do I need right now? Your brain automatically asks, how do I avoid disappointing everyone? That's one of the deepest roots of people-pleasing behavior. And then guilt shows up, not because you did something wrong, but because you did something different. You chose yourself, even in a small way, and part of you doesn't know what to do with that yet, which makes you wonder, where did you learn that other people's comfort matters more than your own? Most people think people-pleasing is just part of their personality. That's just who I am. I'm caring, I'm easygoing. I hate conflict. But more often than not, it's not your personality, it's a pattern. And patterns usually start way earlier than most people realize. Long before dating, long before work, sometimes before you even knew how to explain what you were feeling. Maybe growing up being the good kid got you love, attention, or peace. You didn't cause problems, you didn't talk back. You picked up on people's moods before anyone had to say a word. Maybe when mum was stressed, you got quieter. Maybe when dad got frustrated, you learned to stay out of the way. Little by little, your nervous system started connecting approval with safety. And if there was tension at home, arguments, unpredictability, emotional distance, you may have learned that keeping other people happy was the safest move, so you became the helper, the peacemaker. The one who could read the room. People praised you for being mature, but what nobody saw was how often you were abandoning yourself to keep everyone else comfortable. That's why how to stop people pleasing isn't just about setting boundaries today. Sometimes it means noticing the younger version of you who learned that being loved meant being easy, useful, or needed. And once you see that, another question starts to show up. Am I being kind? Or am I afraid? This is where a lot of people have their first real aha moment, because being kind and being a people pleaser can look almost identical on the outside. You help people, you show up, you care, you give. So naturally, you tell yourself, I'm just a good person. And maybe you are. But here's the real question. Why are you giving? Because kindness feels different in your body. Real kindness feels open, calm, chosen. You help because you genuinely want to. But people-pleasing behavior usually feels heavier. There's tension, pressure, maybe even anxiety. You're not giving because it feels good. You're giving because saying no feels worse. Think about that friend who calls every time they're in crisis. You answer, you listen, you support, but afterward you feel drained. Or maybe you're dating someone who only reaches out when it's convenient for them, and somehow you keep making excuses for it. That's often what self-abandonment looks like when it's wearing the costume of kindness. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Because once you start noticing the difference, you can't really unsee it. You start realizing that some of the things you thought were love or loyalty may have actually been fear, approval-seeking, or survival, which naturally leads to a harder question. What is this doing to your relationships? One of the hardest truths about people-pleasing is that even though you're trying to keep relationships together, sometimes it quietly does the opposite. Because when you constantly say yes, avoid conflict, and hide what you really feel, people may like being around you, but they may never actually know you. And being liked is not the same thing as being deeply seen. At first, it can even feel like things are working. You're easy to be with, low maintenance, understanding. You don't ask for much. In dating, friendships, even family dynamics, people might call you so chill or so easy to talk to. But inside, you may be swallowing disappointment, ignoring red flags and telling yourself, it's fine, it's not a big deal. Even when, honestly, it kind of is. And here's where people-pleasing behavior can get painful. You may start attracting people who love receiving, but struggle with giving. Emotionally unavailable partners. Friends who only reach out when they need something. People who feel very comfortable leaning on you, but never really ask what you need. Not because you deserve that, but because you've unintentionally taught people that you'll always be the one adjusting. Over time, resentment starts building. You feel unseen, unheard, maybe even lonely inside relationships that look fine from the outside. And somewhere in all of that, a deeper fear starts showing up. If I stop being the one everyone needs, who am I? For a lot of people, the moment they start choosing themselves, guilt shows up almost immediately. Not a little guilt. Sometimes the kind that makes you question everything. Am I being selfish? Am I overreacting? What if people think I've changed? And the truth is, sometimes you're not feeling guilty because you're doing something wrong. You're feeling guilty because you're doing something unfamiliar. If your identity has been built around being needed, helpful, or emotionally available for everyone else, putting yourself first can feel weirdly uncomfortable. Rest feels lazy. Boundaries feel rude. Taking a weekend for yourself feels almost irresponsible. Meanwhile, you'd never judge a friend for doing the exact same thing. Funny how that works, right? Maybe you finally turn your phone on Do Not Disturb. Maybe you say no to dinner because you're emotionally drained. Maybe you stop replying to every text the second it comes in. Small things, totally normal things, but for someone stuck in people-pleasing behavior, those small choices can feel huge because your nervous system is still learning that your needs matter too. And once your self-worth stops depending on being useful, available, or the strong one, something deeper starts shifting. Because if your value doesn't come from being needed anymore, then where does real self-worth actually come from? So, how to stop people-pleasing in real life, not in a motivational quote, not in a journal entry you forget about 3 days later. I mean, when your boss asks for one quick favor, your family expects you to show up, or someone you care about gets disappointed with your boundary. Because that's where real change actually happens, in ordinary moments that used to control you. The first step is simpler than most people think. Pause. Before saying yes, give yourself a moment, even 5 seconds. Instead of automatically saying, yeah, sure, try something like, let me check my schedule and get back to you. That tiny pause may not look like much, but for someone with years of people-pleasing behavior, it can feel like emotional weightlifting. Then stop over-explaining. Seriously, you don't need a PowerPoint presentation every time you set a boundary. I can't make it tonight. I'm not available this weekend. That doesn't work for me. Full stop. No 12-paragraph apology. No emotional customer service voice. The people who respect you will adjust, and the people who don't, well, that tells you something too. And maybe most importantly, start small. Micro boundaries. Don't start by confronting the hardest person in your life. Start by not answering that text right away. Start by asking yourself what you want before asking everyone else what they need. Because the real goal isn't becoming cold, difficult, or selfish. It's becoming someone who finally feels safe being fully themselves. If you made it this far, I want you to realize something. The fact that you're even watching this means a part of you is already waking up. A part of you is starting to notice the patterns, the guilt, the over-explaining, the exhaustion, and maybe, for the first time, you're realizing that people-pleasing was never your personality. It was survival. And once you see that, you can't really unsee it. The real question is, how much longer are you willing to abandon yourself just to keep other people comfortable? And what could your life look like if you finally stopped needing permission to be fully yourself? If you feel comfortable, I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. What's one area of your life where you know you need stronger boundaries right now? Maybe it's with family, a friendship, a romantic relationship, or even at work. And if this video helped you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because here we go much deeper into self-worth, emotional healing, and the hidden patterns that may be shaping your relationships, your confidence, and the way you see yourself. If someone came to your mind while watching this, share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need to hear right now. I genuinely hope this video helps you understand yourself on a deeper level, and more importantly, that it actually makes a real difference in your life, your healing, and the person you're becoming. Thanks so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.